माधव कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की समवेत भक्त वृंद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 22, verse number 33. Arthendriyartha vidyanam sarva arthapanavo nirnam भ्रंसितो ज्ञान विज्ञानाद् येन विशति मुख्याताम्। अर्थेन्द्रिय अर्थ विद्यानाम् सर्व अर्थोपनवो नृणाम् भ्रंसितो ज्ञान विज्ञानाद् येन विशति मुख्यताम्। अर्थेन्द्रिय अर्थ विद्यानाम् सर्व अर्थपनवो नृणाम् भ्रंसितो ज्ञान विज्ञानाद् येन विशति मुख्यताम्। अर्थेन्द्रियार्थ विद्यानां सर्वार्थापनवो नृणाम् ब्रह्मसितो ज्ञान विज्ञानात् येन विशति मुख्यताम्। अर्थेन्द्रियार्थ विद्यानां सर्वार्थापनवो नृणाम् भ्रमसितो ज्ञान विज्ञानात् येन विशति मुख्यताम्। अर्थेन्द्रियार्थ विद्या सर्व अर्थ पनवो नृणाम भ्रंसितो ज्ञान विज्ञानात् येना विसति मुख्यताम्. What translation? Artha riches, indriya artha for the satisfaction of the senses, abhidhyanam constantly thinking of, sarva artha four kinds of achievements, apanavaha destructive, nirnam of human society, Brahmsita being devoid of, Jnana knowledge, Vijnanat devotional service, Yena by all this, Avishati enters, Mukhyatam immovable life. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. For human society constantly thinking of how to earn money and apply it for sense gratification brings about the destruction of everyone's interest. When one becomes devoid of knowledge and devotional service, he enters into species of life like those of trees and stones. Okay. Purport will cover with the class, we'll cover the points and we'll discuss. So, this topic we are discussing today in the 4th canto, our Chatuskumar, the 4 Kumaras. As you know that our Prithumaras, when he was doing the yajna, that time Lord Vishnu came there. And Lord Vishnu personally told that in the future, you will get darshan of these 4 Kumaras. And as the Lord told him at the time of the yajna, this is the time the 4 Kumaras are descending and coming to his kingdom. And there is a discussion between the 4 Kumaras and the Prithu Maharaj. So, although Prithu Maharaj was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, just imagine, apparently from the 4 Kumaras, Prithu Maharaj was an avatar of Lord Vishnu, but taking an humble position, he is inquiring from the 4 Kumaras. What is he inquiring? What is the means of the suffering soul in this material world? Means how a conditioned soul will get benefited in this material world. That is the question of Prithu Maharaj to the 4 Kumaras. So when I was reading this chapter, I was remembering, although he was an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, just to benefit all the conditioned soul of this material world, he is putting this kind of questions. So that Kumaras can answer and then all the mankind can get benefited from this. Just like our Parikshit Maharaj, such a Mahabhagavat devotee, great devotee of Lord Vishnu, but he is putting question to Sukadev Goswami because he knew that whatever is happening now, it is happening by the will of Lord, and I am putting in this condition so that I can put some questions and the conversation will be recorded in Srimad Bhagavad Puran and the whole mankind in the future they will get benefited. So that is the quality of the great devotees. They always think about the welfare of the whole mankind and they do the activity in such a way that all will be get benefited. So here when the questions were asked by our Prithu Maharaj, Kumaras, they started answering the questions. So in the verse 21 they answered that the ultimate goal of human life is 2 things they are telling. Jai Sri Radha Vrindavan Vyari Bhagavan Ki Jai, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. So they are answering that there are 2 main goals of human life. One is that detachment from bodily concept of life, and second is attachment to Krishna. Simple thing. Negative to neutral, neutral to positive. Simple, get detached from the material sense gratification, bodily concept of life and attached to Krishna. That is the ultimate goal of human life. In one sloka, Kumaras they answered. And then Prithu Maharaj was saying, okay, that is okay, but how to do that? You told the goal, but tell me the means. You are telling the prayojan. But what is the avideya? How to go to that prayojan? You are telling that Mumbai is the destination. But right now I am in Galtar. How to go Mumbai? I need a vehicle, car, supply something, na? So then, okay, there is a process. The process is that in the verse 25 he tells the process The most effective process to achieve this goal is to constantly hearing Harikatha, Sravanam Kirtanam. That is the most effective and easiest process right now what we are doing, Sravanam Kirtanam. So when a person does that, immediately he reaches the goal. It's like the Mercedes Benz. If you sit in the Mercedes, immediately you go to the Mumbai. This is the most effective. There are so many vehicles, cycle, bicycle, but the Mercedes car immediately will take you to through the highway, it will take you to Mumbai. So constantly hearing Harikatha is the most effective way to get this, Kumaras tells. Then Prithu Maharaj has a question. You are telling that to sit in the Mercedes Benz, that is okay, but right now I don't have any money to buy a Mercedes Benz. I am a bhikari. How will you get a car like that? So you are telling to hear Harikatha, that's okay, but I am suffering conditioned soul. I am misery, I am suffering with a tritap. I am not getting food to eat, and you are telling to hear Harikatha. If you will go to a village and they are not getting food and you are telling, sit, I will tell Harikatha. Well, first supply some food, Baba. I am feeling hungry. Then I will hear Harikatha. So then Kumaras tell that, okay, I will tell you another sloka. Then Kumaras tells another sloka in the verse 26. No matter whatever suffering a conditioned soul is going in this material world, if you will Harikatha, it will help. How? Because he tells it will give two things, Jnana and Vairagya. Whatever conditioned soul one is suffering because of attachment, right? So if he has the knowledge and Vairagya, then automatically he will detach from the miseries of this material world and he will be satisfied with whatever condition Lord has given. So these two byproduct you will get through this. It is a special kind of Mercedes Benz. If you sit here, automatically it will supply everything. It will supply food also inside. It has all the facilities inside because it will give Jnana and Vairagya. So Jnana and Vairagya are like the two byproduct of devotional service. And when person gets this Jnana and Vairagya, automatically he will be detached from this material conditional life. And he will get the knowledge to go in the right direction. So don't worry, practice and have faith on my word. And then somebody says, how Jnana Vairagya will, this Jnana knowledge and Vairagya, how this will help a conditioned soul? Everything is happening because of the subtle body. They say that because we are identifying that I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am a farmer, I am a villager, I am a rich person, because of this identification with this material subtle body, everything is happening. Sometimes we do program and some big person come, then if you will not welcome him properly, then he get annoyed. Recently, I was telling that day, one guest, he was sharing with me that he came to an ISKCON temple for giving some donation, but because he was not received properly, he became so angry that he returned with the donation. He told Prabhuji, I brought around 50,000 to give temple, but they didn't receive me properly. Didn't give me some prasad also. So just see, because of this so much of identification with the subtle body, that I am this person, they should receive me, I am a big person coming. So then Kumaras tell that the beauty of devotional service is that this Jnana and Vairagya, when these two things will come, the first thing it does that it destroys the subtle body. Destroy means it destroys the material identification of subtle body. It will not destroy. Subtle body is an constitutional position of the soul. It's like a vehicle. Again, take the analogy of a vehicle. You have a vehicle, nowadays there are two options. Either you can put petrol or CNG. So if you are putting CNG means it's like in spiritual impressions. Just imagine, and petrol means material impression. So there are two options. Either put CNG or petrol to go Mumbai. So if you are putting CNG means the vehicle will run, or else by petrol the vehicle will run. So there are two options, either material vasanas, material impression, you will see some material bad things and that will put, the subtle body will act accordingly. And if you are putting spiritual vasanas, then the subtle body will act spiritually. Trinadapi Sunichana will understand. Okay, they have not given me the asana, it's okay, I am just an insignificant conditioned soul. They'll accept because that spiritual vasanas are there. Material vasana, how come they have not offer me the seat to sit? And they become annoyed. But generally what the impersonalist does, they don't apply any vasanas only. They don't give CNG or nor petrol. They just keep the vehicle at one place. So they have a subtle body. but they don't give spiritual impression nor the material impression. So they have a subtle body, that's it. So that is the impersonalist does. They have a car, nice car, but they don't put petrol nor they put CNG. They don't go anywhere. They are at one place. So, but the devotees, they put CNG and they go to Mumbai. So they reach the destination like that. So then, so by this jnana and vairagya, one can destroy the material vasanas, material impressions. And when you destroy this material impression, then there is no more suffering in this material world. That's what our Kumaras tells. And then they say, then Pruthumara is telling, okay, you destroy the material subtle body, but how really it helps? I'm not at all, till now I'm not at all understanding the concept. You are destroying the material subtle body, but how really it is helping the soul? Then they say that in the verse 27, actually everything is happening because of the identification of the material subtle body. Because we are identifying the material designation, we are suffering. Because why? Because you are identifying the material designation, you are thinking, I am an engineer, I am a doctor, and you start enjoying. I need this qualification, I need this quota, I need this kind of a reception, because that person was identifying as a secretary in big position. So he was thinking that wherever I go, I was received like anything, but here they are not receiving me. So he got a jhatka. Because of that identification, because he was a big position in the government. If that identification would have not there, then it was normal for him. So then he was telling that because person identify materially with the subtle body, he wanted to enjoy. That enjoyment tendency comes. So everything, then the enjoyment tendency comes. And then Pruthumara was thinking, really this enjoyment is so bad? I am not understanding. How come this enjoyment is so bad? And then he explains the current section what we are reading. Verse 32, verse 33. In these 4 verses he explained, Are Baba, this sense gratification is so bad. If a person does this sense gratification, it can take to the hell. And it is the worst of everything. And then he begins from the verse 32, verse 33. In a sequential manner, in a very systematic way, these 4 verses are connected. So we will cover these 4 verses and then we will discuss the verse 33, today's verse. So this is just like the Bhagavad Gita verse in the 2nd chapter, Dhyayato Visayam Pumsa. The same flow, but different flavor. So verse 30 begins with the verse 30. Indrer Visayakrishteir Akshitam Dhyayatam Manaha Chetanam Harate Buddhe Stambhoyam Iva Hridat. So it's telling everything begins with Indriya. Dhyayato Visayam Pumsa. Here he is telling the different flavor. Indriyar Visaya Akrishte. There Dhyayata, here Akrishte. Akarshan. What is happening in Akarshan? Indriya, the senses are attracted to Vishaya. Vishaya means what? The sense object. The senses are attracted to the sense object and everything begins from there. Just like even the one sense is get attracted to sense object, it can attract the whole body. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita again that sometimes there is a huge ship in the ocean, but sometimes you see there is a cloth, wind cloth in the ship. And when the wind flows, and because of the wind cloth, the whole tons of huge ship that get carried away with the wind because of that one wind cloth. Similarly, because of this one sense get attracted to sense object, it takes away the whole mind. Mind pulls the intelligence, and the whole human goes in that direction. Examples are there, insects. Because they are attracted to one sense object, they lose their life. Sometimes we say, how foolish this insect, especially when you burn a candle. You see so many flies, they enter into the flame and they die there only. But that is how the sense gratification attraction to the senses is. They cannot perceive that I am going to die. That is, the attraction is so high that the intelligence doesn't work. They also know that if something is warm, they won't see it. But especially when the light comes, they get attracted. The eye get attracted to the light and they enter into the flame, die immediately. So many fishes, no matter whatever you put in the water, first they'll eat, and if they don't like, then they vomit it. That is the tendency of fish. Because the tongue is so much attracted to anything that puts, they first enter into they put it inside the mouth and they will taste. It is not eatable, then they vomit it. And that's how they caught. They put an earthworm in a needle and they catch a fish. So these animals, they are attracted to the sense. One senses get attracted to the sense object. Because of that, they lose their life. That's what here Sanat Kumar is telling. Indriyer Vishaya Akrishte. The senses are attracted to the sense object, and because of that, Akshitam Dhyayata Mana. Because of that, they pull the mind. Mana, the mana get pulled. And then the mind get bewildered because the sense is demanding. I want this sense object, do something. The mind get bewildered. And then what happens? Chetanam harate buddhe. The mind, chetana, the mind takes away the buddhi, the intelligence. The mind is pulling now the intelligence. The intelligence has the discriminating power, what is good, what is right. But the mind is now attracted to the sense gratification. The mind pulls the intelligence. And then he gives an analogy. Stamba toyam hiva hrada. Stamba toyam hiva hrada. Hrada means a lake. In a lake, the banks of a lake, if you see the grasses are there, then the grasses slowly takes the water. And the water finishes. And nobody can see that. Similarly, if the senses are attracted to the sense object, slowly it pulls the mind pulls the intelligence. And you go in a wrong direction. Just like the grasses takes the water from a lake. And it takes all the water and the grass get nourishment. Similarly, here the senses get nourishment by engaging in sense gratification, and it takes your Krishna consciousness through the channel of mind and intelligence. That is how the verse 30. And connecting to this verse, the verse 31. It tells the next consequences steps. What all happens when the intelligence loses its discriminating power. Bhrashyati anusmriti chittam. So, this bhrashyati means what? Lost. So when this intelligence lost his discriminating power, then what happened? Then the memory is lost. Jnana bhramsha smriti ksham. When the intelligence loses the discriminating power, it cannot access the memory. For example, in computer, sometimes the software get corrupted. Okay? So you may have a good memory. Aapka memory is there. But when the software is corrupted, it cannot access the memory. Although you have 100 TB of memory, and it is very good memory. Hard disk is there, but the software is corrupted. So it cannot access the memory. So all the human lot of memory is there, good memory is there. Your memory is there. But the intelligent was corrupted now. The intelligent was attracted to the sense gratification. So it is not able to access the memory. So that is the condition. Bhrashyate anusmriti chittam. Anusmriti, the memory is lost. So in one sense, memory is there, but the intelligence is not able to access the memory. The connection is disconnected. And then what happened? Jnana bhramsa smritikshaya. Smritikshaya, the memory is lost. So memory is ultimately everything, right? In the memory you know what is good, who is a good person, who is a bad person, what to do, what not to do. That is the hard disk. But now it is inaccessible. So that is the time jnana bhramsat. Knowledge is destroyed. And when knowledge is destroyed, tad rodam kavayo prahu. Kavayo means the knowledgeable, intelligent person, wise person, kavayo. They tell that when knowledge is destroyed, everything is destroyed. That is what? Atma panava atmana. The soul is destroyed. So when knowledge is destroyed, means now you don't know what is right and what is wrong. Anything that person can do. It's like a madman. The madman is unpredictable. Anything he can do. He can slap somebody, he can go anywhere. So that is the condition. The soul goes to in a wrong direction. And it destroys the existence of the soul. That's how the verse 30 and verse 31 explain. Just like the dhyayato visham punsa sankasam jayate kama krodha vijayate. That whole sequence just like that. So I was remembering the case study of our Ajamil. Same thing has happened, na? He was a proper Brahmana, practicing everything, and he was following all the rules and regulation of the household life, grihastha life, everything. But just he saw One day, while coming from the jungle to his house, he saw a scene where a Sudra was embarrassing a prostitute lady. And just by, he saw a glimpse. And then he was continuing his service and he went to house. But one thing he done a mistake, that he kept on thinking that thing. That story comes now, the guru and disciple. One guru and disciple, they were both coming from Himalayas. There was a river came in between. Not so much of water, a water till your chest. So when both were entering, they saw a lady, young lady. She was standing there and she was very fearful to cross the river. And then she asked the help from this guru that, can you help me cross this river? The guru was little old. And the guru told, okay, no, you just sit on my shoulder and I'll make you cross this river. And the lady sat on the guru's shoulder and the guru walked across the river. But the disciple was totally disturbed. Well, what is this? My guru tells that you should not, you are a brahmachari and you should not touch a woman, and he is taking the woman on his shoulder. And he was totally disturbed throughout the river. And then they crossed the river and the lady told thanks to the guru and the lady went to his house. And then both reached the monastery. And then the disciple was totally disturbed. And guru could sense, he is a guru. Something you want to ask me? So then disciple told that, okay, I have a question. Okay, tell. So that you tell that we should not touch a woman and you carried that woman on your shoulder. So that was disturbing me. How come you done that kind of thing? And the guru was thinking, I carried that woman across the river and I dropped the lady there only and I forgot everything. And you are carrying that woman till now. From that point to this point, to the house also. So that is the problem, that Vishayam Pumsa, Dhyayato Vishayam Pumsa. The more one person is thinking about the sense object, the more it affects the subtle body. That is the moral things of this story. The more one person thinks about the sense object, the more it affects the mind, and then the mind attracts the intelligence, and intelligence loses the discriminating power. What is good, what is bad. And as I told, the intelligence is like a software, central processor. It's like the CPU, central processing unit of the system. And when that CPU becomes corrupted, no matter how much memory we have in the hard disks, it cannot access. Disconnect ho gaya. So that is the problem happen when the intelligence loses its discriminating power. Same thing, when you have the again after some time you come to the sense. And that time you think, oh my God, what I did. Because that time again it got connected to the memory. So that's how, so the main thing is, it is a loop. Just like I am taking the example of Ajamil. So he saw that prostitution, how they were embracing each other, but the problem happens, he keep on remembering, keep on thinking about that pastime. And he went to his home, again he was thinking about that prostitute lady. And because of that, the mind got attracted, and then mind attracted the intelligence. Although he was a proper Brahmana and he was following all the rules of the Brahmanical life, doing everyday yajna and all the things, still the intelligence lost his discriminating power. And then he started plotting the plan how to bring that prostitute lady to the home. And the first obstacle is wife, because the wife is a Brahmanical lady and she won't allow. So the first thing he does, that he just thrown away that his own Brahmanical wife. He told that you go away from my house. Just imagine, the lady was serving him so nicely, he just abandoned that lady just to enjoy a prostitute lady. Just imagine to what extent a person can go. That is how the discrimination power can make a person do. And then he brought that prostitution lady to the house. And then another obstacle, the parents. Because the parents, they will object. So the second thing he does, that he just gave up his old parents, father and mother. Just imagine. To what extent a person can go just to enjoy. And then he was not stopping there. And then this lady has a demands, because he is not a Brahmanical lady. And then the lady tells that I want this, I want that. Earlier the lady was humbly was serving and helping this person in his yajna. And now this lady is telling, I want to eat this non-veg, I want to have money, I want enjoyment, I want this, that. And this Brahmana, our Ajamil, was doing so nicely the Brahmanical activity. Now, poor Brahmana, how will earn money? Opted the wrong things in his life. People, he started murdering people, he started whoever the passenger were going through the jungle, he started attacking them, murdering them, taking the money from them, robbing them, all kinds of bad activity he started doing. To that extent a person can go and just to satisfy this lady. So that is how it begins. Dhyato Vishayam Pumsa, the senses got attracted to the sense object, and then that attract the mind, and mind get bewildered, and then mind attracts the intelligence loses the discriminating power, and then everything goes in a wrong direction. And then the verse 32, yesterday our Abhay Gaurang Prabhu took, that is the verse how when the intelligence loses its discriminating power, it cannot access the memory. And when it cannot access the memory means the knowledge is lost. We don't know what is good, what is right. And knowledge is lost means soul has lost. Because now the soul cannot go in the right direction. It cannot to take him to hell. And that was an exceptional case. He chanted Narayan. So when we tell this pastime, so many people they get an hope. Good na? Enjoyed whole life. And that last he chanted Narayan, went to Vaikuntha. It's good na? I told Baba, that was an exceptional case. For you to chant Narayan, it's not so easy. The whole life, whatever preparation a person does, death is the examination. It's not that you will enjoy the whole life and the last you will chant Narayan and go back to Godhead. And that also Ajamil, they immediately didn't go to Vaikuntha. He stayed here and he prepared his life for Vaikuntha. Because that general people doesn't focus much. The Vishnu Duta came and they protected from the Yamadutas. They didn't take him to Vaikuntha like that. So in the verse 32 we saw that when the discriminating power lost, then the knowledge is lost, and the right knowledge when you lose, then that makes the person go to hell, the soul is lost. And then in the verse 33, today's example, if a person does this kind of sense gratification, what kind of life he will get? So that is the today's verse. Arthendriyartha vidhyanam. Yeah, can recite. Arthendriyartha vidhyanam. Sarva artha panavo nirnam. Bhramito jnana vijnanad. Yena vishati mukhyatam. So he is telling two things. Artha, arthendriya artha, indriya artha. Artha means what? Like wealth, money. Money, sabse bada rupaya. What is the value of a sense object? The artha of a eye is form, or money and the sense object. Abhidhyanam means what? Dhyanam. If a person thinks always about these two things, about money and sense object, then what happened? Sarva artha panavo nirnam. Sarva artha means what? All kind of arthas means ultimate artha of this human life. That is the dharmartha kama moksha or devotional service. Sarva artha, that is the ultimate artha of this human life. Apanava means it is lost. So when a person is thinking about these two artha, how to earn money, and how to enjoy, money, enjoy. So then he will lost his ultimate artha of human life, that is the self-realization. Nirnam means human beings. And then what happens further? Bhramsito jnana vijnana. Because we saw that when a person practices devotional service, the byproduct is jnana and vijnana. That helps to destroy the material vasanas. So because he is enjoyed, he is attracted to the senses and the money, so he will not get this jnana and vijnana through the devotional service. So when somebody will not get this jnana and vijnana, he cannot destroy the material vasanas, and when somebody is not able to destroy the material vasanas, he will go to the lower species of life. That is the fourth line. Yena abhishati mukhyata. Mukhyata means what? Immovable life, stagnant life, the life of a tree. That is the mukhyata. So he will go to the life of a trees. So if somebody is too much attached to material wealth, sense gratification, the whole life is engrossed in that, then such kind of person, they will go to mukhyata. Mukhyata means the life of a trees, immovable object, or life of a stone, life of a mountain. They also have a life. Bhagavatam says. We may say that it is a, science may say it is a non-living entity, but Bhagavatam says that stone also have a life. He has also a soul. So this kind of immovable mountain, stone, trees, they will become. So that is what this sloka today says that. So let's see Prabhupada what he tells in the purport. Jnana, knowledge, means to understand one's constitutional position, and Vijnana refer to practical application of that knowledge. So Prabhupada is highlighting on this Jnana and Vijnana. Jnana means understanding one's constitutional position, that Jiver Swarup Hoye Krishna Nitya Das. That is the Jnana. And what is Vijnana? Vijnana means acting on that. You understand that what is knowledge and act on that. That is a practical application of the knowledge. That is what devotional service. So Jnani is there, neti, I am not this stone, I am not this fire, I am not this air, I am not this, neti. They, the whole life they focus on not this, and end of the life they come that, okay, I am this soul. I am the soul. So finding the root of the tree. But Prabhupada tells that devotional service means in the beginning only they know that I am not this matter, I am the spirit soul. And they work upon the soul, they water the soul. Otherwise, what is the use of finding the root of the tree if you are not putting the water? The tree will die, right? But the devotional service, in the beginning only they water the root and they get the fruits and they enjoy Krishna Prem. So that is the difference Prabhupada is telling, Jnana and Vijnana. And then Prabhupada is writing, in the human form of life, one should come to the position of Jnana and Vijnana. But despite this great opportunity, if one doesn't develop knowledge and practical application of knowledge through the help of a spiritual master and shastras, in other words, if one misuses this opportunity, then in the next life he is sure to be born in a species of non-moving living entities like trees. So when I was reading this paragraph, I remember the famous personalities. Can you guess? Nal Kuber, Prabhuji told that perfectly the example. Nal Kuber and Manigriv. They are the perfect personalities to this sloka. They born from Kuber, the wealthiest, richest Kuber. And they are fully attached to all their money, whatever money and sense gratification. Attached to the wealth and the sense gratification. They were taking bath in the Mandakini Ganga. The Ganga river, so pious, auspicious river where people go for do pious activity. There they were taking bath naked with the women. And they were totally intoxicated with the liquor. And that time, to their fortune, Narada Muni comes there. And instead of giving respect to Narada Muni, because all the ladies, when they saw Narada Muni, immediately they wore their dress and they just left the place. But these two personalities, they were thinking, this is our area, we are enjoying, ye hamara ghar hai, why this person is coming here? What is his business here? He should go away from here. So they were thinking in that perspective, and not at all bothering that Narada Muni is such a great spiritual master who is guru of so many great personalities standing in front of us. They are not at all bothering, and they are enjoying. And then Narada Muni was feeling compassionate on them. Instead of people think, he has become angry. Actually, he is feeling daya, compassion, that they were born from such a big family, demigod family, but instead of using their life in a proper way, they are wasting like an animal. And then Narada Muni, out of compassion, he cursed them, that may you become a tree. And when they got this curse, they came to sense. Narada Muni, please forgive. Please do something. They came to the sense. Sometimes lato ka bhut baaton se nahi mante. So he could have Earlier he could have corrected in themselves, but when they got cursed, that time they came to the sense and they fall at the feet of Narada Muni and they were asking forgiveness, all that things. And then Narada Muni told, okay, I can't take the curse, but one thing is happen, one good things will happen. He will born in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and he will get darshan of Krishna himself, and then he will get liberated. And that's how they got benefited. So if a great personality is, even though he curses, he does for an higher purpose, and that is ultimately good for that conditioned souls. And that's how Prabhupada is telling that we should take the benefit of spiritual master. So Narada Muni is like a spiritual master. If he will not take benefit of such kind of spiritual master, then he will go to hell. There is no doubt at all. Yesterday I was reading a pastime of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, when he was going to abroad, that time Charu Prabhu, he was always making arrangements of Prabhupada with TV interviews. So wherever Prabhupada used to come to America, he used to arrange some kind of TV interviews of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was going to one of the TV interview, and the personality was taking the interview of Prabhupada. He was asking all kind of silly questions. Prabhupada, after the interview, Prabhupada became very annoyed. Well, these persons don't know how to ask a spiritual person. They are asking all kind of silly questions. I am not at all interested on this kind of, it's like a wastage for me. My time is getting wasting. So then Charu Prabhupada was telling Prabhupada, through this interview you are reaching millions of people. Prabhupada then told, so what is the point of reaching millions of people if you are not able to explain the proper, pure devotional service, Krishna conscious stuff? Rather, I would like to approach 2-3 persons, but where I can deliver the pure Krishna conscious stuff. So don't arrange this kind of interview anymore, Prabhupada told him. So then he was understanding that what is the logic. So Prabhupada is focused that I have little time, and my time is very urgent, and I should apply this time in the proper perspective where I can deliver the proper Krishna conscious message. And if I am not getting that platform, no matter I may reach thousands of people, millions of people, but I am not interested in that. Rather, I want to make one person pure devotee. So that was the Prabhupada's message he was telling in that pastime. The mood of a spiritual master, guru, how he thinks like that. And then Prabhupada is telling in the purport, non-moving living entities include hills, mountains, trees, plants. This stage of life is called Punyatma or Mukhyatma, namely making all activities zero. Then Prabhupada relate that philosophers who support stopping all activities is called Sunyavad. By nature's own way, our activities are to be gradually diverted to devotional service. Like Prabhupada tells, if you will not serve God, you will serve dog. But because this service propensity is there in the soul, that is the nature of a human being. So if you will not serve God, then you will serve your nation, or you will serve your families, or you will serve your somebody you will serve. Gaurang Prabhu was telling the other day in that class that when he joined ashram, there was a brahmachari, and in the kitchen both were serving. And this brahmachari was telling that, kya seva de diya, chapati banane ka seva de diya. I came to here to preach Sanatan Dharma. And what kind of seva they gave? They are not understanding my potential. They are giving me to make chapatis. And then Gaurang Prabhu, why you are telling me? I am also making chapatis. And then few days that brahmachari stayed and he became totally frustrated. And they are, humse ye sab nahi hone wala hai. I am going somewhere else and I will spread Sanatan Dharma outside. And he left his camp. And then after decades of years, Gaurang Prabhu again met that brahmachari. They met, but that time he was a grahastha. And then he was like, where you are preaching now? I am now grahastha. What happened? Actually, I joined grahastha ashram, and then I was preaching in the beginning, but later my wife got back pain and she couldn't cook. Now I have to make chapatis every day in the home. Then this is the condition. So anyway, a living entity has this propensity to serve. If you will not serve somebody, somewhere you have to serve. This proclivity of serving somebody is there in the innate nature of a soul. That's Prabhupada is telling. And then Prabhupada is telling, but there are philosophers who, instead of purifying their activities, try to make everything zero, void, sunyavad. This lack of activity is represented by the trees and the hills. This kind of punishment inflicted by the laws of nature, if we do not properly execute our mission of life in self-realization, nature's punishment will render us inactive by putting us in the form of a tree. So, if we will not engage our propensities in devotional service, and if we will try to make everything sunyavad, void, then the nature will give us punishment. Punishment in the sense of tree, stone, mountain. So this is the karmic reaction of not doing any activity. So there are two animals. The crow was sitting on the tree. The crow was sitting on a tree, and he was sitting idly, inactive. So the rabbit saw the crow, and the rabbit thought, very nice, crow is not doing any activity, only sitting on the tree. So then the rabbit asked the crow, so what do you think if I'll also sit idle like you? Crow, try na. So then rabbit, he also went to a place below the tree, and he also sat idle there. And after some time, the jackal was seeing the rabbit. He is sitting idle, and the jackal from the behind attacked the rabbit and ate the rabbit. So the moral of the story is that if you want to become idle like the crow is sitting on the top of the tree, but the rabbit sat on the ground. So to sit means you have to really go high. That's what the Krishna tells in the Gita, the Jnana Yoga. Arjuna was telling that I'll take sannyas, but Krishna told that you don't take sannyas because you have this proclivity of Kshatriya blood. If you will take sannyas and if you will go to the householder grahasthas and if you will ask Vikyam Dehi, and if the lady will tell that aage jao, nahi hai kuch idhar, you will get angry and you may kill that lady also, because you will have that Kshatriya blood. You cannot tolerate the humiliation. You cannot tolerate that because you have a Kshatriya blood. So better you do your activity Niskam Karma Yoga. Don't get attached to the result, but do Niskam Karma Yoga. So that's what the Prabhupada is telling, that if a person will sit idle, and then there is a problem. So that kind of personality, they will get the life of a tree, mountain, hill, stone. That's what Prabhupada is highlighting here. And therefore, Prabhupada is writing at the end of the purport, therefore, activities directed towards sense gratification are condemned herein. One who is constantly thinking of activities to earn money and gratify the senses is following the path which is suicidal. Factually, all human society is following this path. Some way or other, people are determined to earn money or get money by begging, borrowing or stealing and applying that for sense gratification. Such a civilization is the greatest obstacle in the path of self-realization. So when the civilization is directed towards somehow or other earn money, like the current civilization, if you see, so many slaughterhouses, so many liquor shops, so many brothels, and somehow or other earn money, and no matter whether it is a dharmic or adharmic. So this is the suicidal civilization. Prabhupada, when he went to West, he was telling that you are in the material civilization, but where is the knowledge of the soul, the eternal principle? Your civilization is based on the temporary things, and that will take you to the hell. So the civilization should be based on the eternal principle that we are the soul, but we are not this body. And that's how the sense gratification can make a person. Sukadeva Goswami also tells in the Bhagavatam, in the second canto, first verse, Nidraya hriyate naktam vyavahane cha vavah divacharthe haya rajan kutumba bharaneva. So in the daytime they do two activity, in the night time they do two activity. So night time they either sleep or they engage in the sense gratification. That is how the night passes. And the daytime, they think about earning money. When Prabhupada went to the US, he told that there are so much skyscraper buildings are there. That means the people are working so hard. Because there are so much skyscraper means they are working really hard. Why they are working really hard? To earn lot of money. Why lot of money? So that they can enjoy. And the women are beautiful, they are attracted and they enjoy the woman. That's why they're working so hard to earn money, to enjoy. Prabhupada is telling by saying that. So that is how a person who is attached to the sense gratification, he works hard like an ass to earn lot of money so that he can maintain his family, and in that night he can enjoy. That's what Prabhupada is telling. So these are the two things very important, the money and the sense object. That's what the Krishna also tells in the Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya apaharata chetasam vyavasaitmika buddhi samadau na vidyate. Same thing. Bhoga Aishwarya. Aishwarya means the wealth. Bhoga means enjoyment, sense gratification. Bhoga Aishwarya. If a person is attached to Bhoga Aishwarya prasaktanam, a person is attached to this Bhoga Aishwarya, taya apaharata chetasam. It will steal the chetasam, the intelligence. Because always he was thinking about how to earn money, how to enjoy, how to do this. It will steal the intelligence. And when that intelligence will be still in that direction, Vyavasaitmika buddhi, one point and resolute intelligence, proper translate it as a devotional service. Samadha na vidyate, you will not get attracted to one pointed devotional focus to the Krishna. It's like you are wanting to burn and putting water on the top also. Wanted to lead the fire, putting water also. So that will not take place. So that is the main thing here in this sloka, that this attachment to the money and attachment to sense gratification, these are the two main obstacles in the devotional service. And one person who is planning for self-realization, he should avoid these two things in his life. And then I was reflecting that being a sadhaka, who is practicing this Krishna consciousness in his life, how we can relate this. So because we are not doing all these things, but being in a sadhaka life, in a devotional, when a person is practicing devotional service, and we can reflect our life, decades of practicing devotional service, we may not be grossly attached to all these things, but subtly we can introspect our material desires. That okay, when I started devotional service, what was my material desire? What all things I had? And after practicing of 5 years or 10 years, what all material desire I have? Whether I am freed from that material desire, or still I am attracted to this kind of material desire. So we can introspect on our material desire and we can correct. That's what Sugrupa Goswami tells in the Nectar of Devotion. Anya abhilasa sunyam jnana karmati. Anya abhilasa sunyam. It should not be having anya abhilasa. Otherwise, the chanting, hearing and chanting, that will water that weeds. That's what Rupa Goswami also tells. Na? And all the weeds, the grasses, that will come up, and the real mango will not come. The Krishna Prem will not come. So always the sadhaka also introspect on his desires, that on what direction my desires are going. Whether it is going towards Krishna's lotus feet, to serve the Vaishnava, to fulfill the desire of my spiritual master in the association of devotional service, whether it is going in that direction or it is going in a wrong direction. So by introspecting on these things, we can make our direction, our desires in a right direction towards Krishna consciousness, and we can success in our Krishna conscious devotional service process and make our life perfect, and ultimately can please Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Anybody have any questions or any comment? Any reflection? Huh?
Translates Sarva Artha, which is for achievement. So is that the same as learning, taking, moving, speaking?
Sarva Artha proper translate as a Dharma Artha Kama Moksha. 4 Purusartha. The next look I will come.
It doesn't mention that, it just says for achievement.
For achievement.
And the purpose is learning, borrowing.
Proper translated like that. Like Prabhupada,
through these four forms.
Prabhupada gives his own flavor, devotional flavor. But actually, the meaning is in the next verse, verse 34, Kumaras they will tell what is this Sarva Artha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These are the four Purusartha they will tell. Because this section is like Bhakti Misra Gyan. Bhakti is tinged with Jnana. It's not Suddha Bhakti. So later part, then they will tell that, okay, Suddha Bhakti, the sloka will come. So that is how the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is highlighted here, in this section. Hare Krishna. जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत पुराण की जय. केशवानंद प्रभु, आपको बोला फैन चलाने के लिए, फैन चलाने के लिए बोला था, पसीना में मुझे नहला दिया आपने. हाँ, क्रॉस क्रॉस देखो आपको कितना, आप इशारा भी कर रहा हूँ, आप तो पूरा स्वर्ग में गए.